So, tonight,
Last we left off.
tonight
What?
we're gonna be doing our epilogue, where we're gonna wrap up the story of Direwood, and we're going to tie up some loose ends, and then maybe if we have time, depending on how things go tonight, I don't know if the epilogue is gonna take half an hour. I don't know if it'll take 3. Depending on how long we have after, maybe we'll jump into wrap up where we start talking about stuff and throwing out questions. But to begin with, last we left off. The bronze toads had teleported into the belly of the beast, the queen's home. There they found their 2 captive friends trapped in a magically sealed jail cell-like room and began exploring the area. Doran and Bess tried to work out what they could about the arcane sigils on the cell bars, while Six and Alistair chased invisible footsteps around the area. Eventually, through various arcane means, the party ascertained the position of Nora and Rowan, the queen's currently invisible guard, and cornered them. A fight erupted, possibly the most intense and strange fight of the entire campaign. Nora and Rowan were very powerful warriors and dealt some pretty mighty blows to the party as spells were slung left and right at them. Eventually, in the heat of battle, as Nora and Rowan seemed to be losing, Rowan pulled out his crossbow and pointed it into the jail cell where Alistair's father and Ravina Raven laid unconscious. He threatened to shoot one of them if the party did not stand down. There was a pause in the fight, an exchange of intentions, but eventually Doran took a chance and cast Wall of Force with impressive speed to try to prevent Rowan from having any opportunity to make do on his threat. Doran was quick, but just barely not quick enough. Alistair's father was shot in the head. The fight erupted once more. Rowan went down, Six went down, Alistair was barely hanging in there, but eventually, through powerful spells and cunning, the party overcame both of the queen's guards. They blasted a hole in the back of the cell, completely circumventing the puzzle, as they are so good at doing, and Bess resurrected Alistair's father.
Were you killed? Yes, but I lived.
Were you killed?
Can't
Yes.
say
Did you?
circumventing the puzzle when you just didn't put it back to the cage.
Anyway.
Putting an empty door in a field and then going, how did you go through there without opening the door?
Not really. It was a stone fucking wall that had high-level spells flung at it, and then anyway, I wasn't
Exactly.
the point. Never mind. You know. Okay.
We win,
Anyway,
shut up.
yeah, yes, you're correct. Alistair's father and Ravina were placed in chairs at the teleportation table, and the party considered leaving then and there, not leaving them there. But there was one last item on the agenda, and after some healing and mental prep, they entered the queen's bedroom. There they found not the queen, not Light, but a faceless shell of a person, sitting in a comfortable chair, their head pushed up against a wall. A different kind of battle commenced, a battle of wills and of encouragement. Light and the queen were fighting in their shared body for control, and a victor did not seem clear. The party did everything they could to remind Light of who he was, how he was stronger than the queen, better than her. Eventually, with one final blow to their own head, the queen/Light fell unconscious, and Light's physical appearance took over. With that, the party teleported everyone out of that strange place back to Shine Bright, where, through a series of funny rolls, they all landed in a heap in the courtyard of Shine Bright together. And that was the end of Direwood the campaign. So now, it's time we come up with the end of Direwood the story. So let's get into the epilogue. I have a list of questions, a list of things to go over that I imagine you guys want to take care of. But before we get into that, is there any immediate action? You know, something like that day after you guys get out of the queen's home? What's the party doing?
Making sure my dad don't got brain damage.
I would like to wait till everyone wakes up before I do anything. You know, like our captured friends.
Yeah. Well, with Alistair and Bess's expertise in adjacent areas of medicine, you guys would be able to tell eventually that the spell that had put Ravina and his father to sleep was more like a series of spells stacked on top of each other that just gave them level 4 exhaustion. Or is it 5? It was the one just before death, basically, so they were not slept, but asleep, very, very much so. So you guys would be able to ascertain via various low-level spells or just rest that they will be okay.
How long until they wake up?
Until they wake up? Could be later that night. Until they're like good, probably a few days.
Well, I just need to talk to Light before I go off and do Doran things. Oh, so I need to sit and talk with Six.
Okay. Well, if the party takes the day, probably a well-earned rest for the rest of the
Doran's
day.
okay. Doran has no wounds.
Yeah, if anyone needed to talk to other characters, now would be the time.
I'm gonna walk over to Sixy Boy. Mr. Sugar Six.
You didn't just call me sexy boy, did you?
No, I called you Sixy Boy. Basically the
Okay.
same thing, but with much more better tone. I require something of you.
Well, thanks for your efforts.
That was so delayed. That was.
I didn't even hear him.
Like 5 seconds later, I heard. Well, what do you say? Appreciate your efforts, or something like that.
Oh, I heard that. Yeah, I require something of you, Six.
Six looks at you expectantly.
Again, I'm not looking at Jason's camera because when he talks, it upsets me. But if he's just looking at me, you have some damage here you have to undo.
Here being Direwood?
No, here being Shinebright, where the cloaked rangers are. When I get back,
Okay.
I'm most likely going to be putting Silvaris in charge of helping remove the rats on the church's behalf. Now, given because of your decisions and your Eunice, no one in the Cloaked Rangers really likes him. If he is going to be working alongside them, you have to fix that.
Okay.
Good, because you're the one who spread the rumors and the knowledge that he is a traitor and is a piece of shit.
I did.
I know. That wasn't the question, Six.
Correct.
Yes, he was a traitorous piece of shit, and I talked about it. I understand.
He is not the traitorous piece of shit, and
No, he's not. He was.
if you are going to, if the church is going to help you, he is one of our skilled fighters, and he will be on the front line of the helping.
Agreed.
So
Absolutely.
you are going to need to work on that. And I look at Bess, and you're going to need to make sure it gets done too, because I don't.
Yeah, we can make that happen.
Well, I certainly hope he doesn't abandon any friends in the future. I think we can all agree on that.
Six. Oh my
I would
God.
flick Six in the nose.
What? You guys hope that he abandons his friends in the future? That's very wrong, in my opinion. I crossed my eyes, or my.
See, this is
I
what we're
crossed my
talking
eyes.
about. We're saying that you might not be so great at reversing the public image. Like, PR doesn't seem to be your strong suit. Six.
Oh, I guess I won't wish anyone well then.
Six, I'm asking you as now, like a long-term friend, I believe, that I would like for you to do this as if he's going to be in charge of this, leading it from the church's side. To convince him to do this, I'm going to need your word.
Certainly. I hope we can trust his as well, is my point.
I trust his, and that should be enough.
Excellent.
Now I'm going to ask you all a question. What the fuck are we all doing?
I have plans. I need to set them in motion, but I do have plans, and they're not nefarious. Not as nefarious.
Are you going back to Priest?
I don't think so. Not yet. I'm not sure where I'm gonna go, but I I want to establish a school for people who want to become,
enough,
people
nefarious.
as skilled with medically skilled. I know there's cleric schools out there, but there's no. I'm not a cleric, and I think I'm decent at it.
Indeed,
Considering
you are.
I've done it so often.
There are certainly a few bigger picture things to take care of in Direwood. Whether you guys take them on at all or together, however, it's up to you. But things like the rats still inhabiting most of it, or the New Republic, or there are some things to take care of. Or how the entire city is in quite a state of disarray.
Oh,
If you
also
wanna
I'll be
take care of
going and taking care of the New Republic.
Take care of how?
I'm taking over it, and if they want to stop me, they can. But I don't think they will,
Okay.
considering we're technically the ones who took out their leader. So
So you've got that. For taking care of the rats, I am willing to put a force into it, led by Savaris. I'm assuming when I look at Six and Bess, you guys will probably be part of, if not leading, or just in general part of the Cloaked Rangers force to help with this.
I'm certain the Cloaked
Indeed.
Rangers will be more than willing to help.
And Alistair, if you are going into the New Republic, I'm assuming you'll be able to supply a force.
Oh, absolutely. I plan on turning them not away from criminal intent and actions, but kind of dumbing it down a bit. I think it's a little excessive in what it is right now.
Will you be taking Pettifer?
I can. He doesn't really have anything here anymore. He doesn't have anybody to fear there.
He will be able to lead his people that are on his side, and that might help with a force. So that takes care of the rats.
If the person who helped kill the queen and Pettifer went in together, you would have a pretty solid chance of taking control.
That's the plan, baby.
Okay.
So the rats will be taken care of that way then, with our combined three forces.
I'm in support of this.
The disarray. We have people in the church who are willing to help, and I look at Six and Bess again. You know my state on what's going to happen with the city. I've been told I get to build a church, and I hope that isn't taken away from our dealings.
Of course. Never considered it.
All right. Then we will be more than willing to. I can make any agreement I want. I'm kind of in charge. We will be more than willing to help with the rebuilding and the anything on that end. With one kind of minor thing I'd like to include in that.
What's that, bud?
Go on.
I would like to remove the ban on recruiting from the Cloaked Rangers.
I can.
That's not my
I
place to say.
think that's okay. Six.
I don't
spots.
see an issue with that. If it is of their own choice and their free will,
Of course, I'm not going to force anyone.
I think that's totally fine. I don't have any issues with that at all.
And I will put a new stipulation on it, of course, saying that if you are to join us, you cannot just abandon your duties. That you are still part of the Cloaked Rangers as much as you are part of the church. That I would like to remove the idea that
That's
those
fine.
are
Keep your 2
separate
weeks.
entities.
That's all we ask.
I would like to remove the idea that those are, separate entities. That they're exclusive. That you can't be both.
Yeah, that sounds like a great
course.
idea.
However, if church duties would take you from your Cloaked Ranger duties, we would need to work with you on that, of course.
Of course.
Okay,
mean,
so a very interconnected church and
Well,
military.
that sounds wonderful.
Here's the thing. Doran is in charge of the church.
Yeah.
That is just that. Light, I will tell you guys now, though it hasn't happened in game yet. We're kind of going through the epilogue. Light will be promoting both Bess and Six. As long as they are willing to stay with him, as long as they are in the city helping, they will be generals of the Cloaked Rangers. You guys are his right-hand people. So you have almost as much
Absolutely.
authority as him.
That's intense.
Thank him for that opportunity.
He would tell you it's the least he can do for, saving his life and making him him again. So
I would also state, Holden, I'm not trying to interconnect the church in the military the way you phrase it. It's more, I want the idea of you can worship the rock without being separate. Because as it sits now, as far as Durin's concerned, if you worship the rock, you can't be part of the Cloaked Rangers.
Or at least, rather, that's how it seems. And he doesn't like that. Okay.
He doesn't like that, and he'd like it to be removed so that they're not inclusive.
We about to become an equal opportunity employer.
Yeah, it seems what Doran wants is for the church to be recognized like any other religion. You wouldn't look at somebody cross-eyed for worshiping Helm if they happen to be in the Cloaked Rangers or any other god of good or neutral. So okay, good to know.
Yeah, so it's not like I want this. Like, he wants things, connected. He wants it to be he wants to make it a real religion.
Okay. Good to know.
Then when they wake up, I'd like to talk to them both, and then I will be taking my leave, and reaching out once I have set up the church's
Where are you
outreach
taking it?
program. What? I'm heading back to the church, and I will set up the outreach program there. The rat removal. We will have to discuss where we'd like to start. We are more than willing to give you guys farmland and help monitor the farmland as well.
That's awesome.
Now that I can say that, it wasn't an argument. It doesn't have to be a fight anymore.
That sounds great.
I'm just that is my end point here. I am still. I don't know. Is the bronze toad still a thing?
Once a bronze toad, always a bronze
I think
toad.
bronze toads will always be a thing.
But
I think we have such
That's
an
what we
intricate
told,
connection of friends that if we ever need anybody, we can call on them.
Oh, that also reminds me. Balin is going to probably be expecting to be called here shortly for the cake order.
That's right.
Ah, well, we do have plenty to celebrate.
We should have a party.
You think I forget, Holden?
The queen and for the everything.
Who is the leader of Direwood?
I am, Doran. I am.
I don't think Alistair would know this, but wasn't Percival's dad back?
Mm-hmm. King Crafton is still magically taken out in the infirmary of the Cloaked Rangers.
What would Doran know about King?
What's that, Clara?
Delicious.
Oh, do we like him? Are we a fan of King Crafton?
Y'all know Percival hated him.
And we liked Percival, so that means we probably don't like him, right?
Y'all know, you guys would know that Percival was put in captivity and had a large chunk of his life essentially taken away by King Crafton, his father.
What would I have known? Because I didn't know Percival. What would I have heard for rumors?
You would have heard is that King Crafton fled when the explosion occurred and nobody had seen him since.
Well, what do I know about him in general? Like, would I know his policies?
You would
From the history books.
Yeah, you would be aware of him actually being known as kind of like a... Actually, Isaac, why don't you go ahead? You would probably be able to answer this better than me. What was Percival's father?
I really didn't think of anything like that for him. I just know that he hated mages, but kept a really cool face in public about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he would be fairly well regarded as a maker of deals, and he was his policies were very anti-magic, but he was never openly like, I hate magic. He didn't allow it in most of his military. And
you want a French fry?
But other than that, he, at face value, from rumors you would hear, or just various politics you'd hear about in Direwood long ago, he was a fine ruler.
Hey, look at the camera, dork. What, really?
I'll be honest, I don't know how much I want to put my dealings in with a man who creates anti-magic policies.
He seems a little closed-minded as well to be accepting a religion surrounding toxic.
Yes.
I could
And
just kill him.
No offense to you, but
he's not awake, correct?
Correct.
And no one's shown any ability to wake him up.
The Cloaked Rangers have tried.
Correct.
Could we just
The queen could have.
leave him sleep? Or,
is this a decision that we have the
It's a beauty.
authority to make?
well, Light's not going to follow it at all, because from what I've gathered, Light, the Cloaked Rangers, are going to protect him no matter what.
I never tried to kiss him. What if it's true love's kiss that... No, that's different. Please continue.
And 6, if the king's your true love, you have some explaining to do to other people.
I think Fate has some explaining to do to
what
me
I'm
as well.
saying is, I am more than willing to work with you guys. And Light, because you guys have proven to be open-minded and aren't
Excellent.
going to be assholes. If what you guys are saying is
As far as we can tell.
the actual ruler of this city is going to be a prick, maybe there should be something done about that.
Did Percy ever show any interest in ruling?
No, he left.
He left.
He left. He was actually offered. He basically was told by Light early on, like, listen, if we don't find your father, if we don't find anyone else, you are the heir to the. You're the most apparent heir to the throne. Percy was told he would become the new ruler of Direwood, and he said nah and fucked off.
Is that over Sam as well? Sam isn't interested in ruling either.
Well, if anyone was going to rule of the Cloaked Rangers, it would be the commander. He is the highest authority.
No, Percival was definitely into it.
Oh, was he? Why'd he fuck off
Yeah.
then? Because they found the father. Yep.
They kept him alive.
Yep. That's what it was.
Yeah.
You're right. Percival
No,
did
because I
show.
remember
Yep.
Percival specifically sat in the chair, and then one of the NPCs was like, "Wah, get out of the chair." And he's
Light.
like, "But this is my fucking chair."
It was Light.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then later he was the one that tell you like, oh yeah, if we don't find anyone else, it is you. Okay, so yeah, Percival did show interest in ruling, but fucked off because his father was alive.
So are you telling me that if we took care of this man, that we have one of your friends who could come in and...
Has that cardboard cut up in the entire time?
What cardboard?
it's so funny because you're freaking out, and then as you're freaking out, we hear, what cardboard? There's like, it's weird. You can hear us with like a perfect immediacy, but there's like a 3-second delay before we can hear you. It's very.
I don't know why.
It's a new issue.
I don't know why the audio is the delayed thing.
Yeah, it's weird.
So has it been there the entire time?
He was in the background of the bedroom. You could just kind of see his head and his tie. I thought it was kind of funny, but I did not realize.
Okay, because it came into frame, and I was like,
It's really funny.
You startled Isaac quite a bit.
And suddenly the audio's not desynced anymore. What the fuck is going on? Anyway.
Hey.
No, there it goes again.
You fixed the audio.
Nope, and it's gone
Never
again.
mind.
Wait, now it's good. It's just back and forth. Anyway, so yeah, no, the highest authorities in Direwood right now are the commander, Doran, and if Alistair were to take control of the New Republic, Alistair and Pettifer.
Why don't we reach out to Percy and see if he's interested in taking out his dad himself covertly after assuming power of Direwood? Like on the DL, very on the DL.
You guys could ask everyone to leave and say a friend has come. Someone has come to visit the father, or honestly, if he's asleep, I'm sure you could say you could convince people that you have a way that you could wake him up, but it could result in his death, and then we just.
I could just go.
I think we should
Either
consult
way.
Percy before doing anything. And yes, sorry, Alistair. Percy is a friend of ours who used to travel and adventure with us before you were around. I think you two would get along.
It was kind of ugly though.
Percival's kind of a
Doran!
dumb name.
I didn't know
Once a
Percival.
bronze toad, always a dumb name.
What's a bronze toad? Always a dumb name. That is absolutely accurate. Okay, so the party right now is conspiring to either murder or murder the magically unconscious king, so that they can place
Go
whoever they
commit
want.
permanent slumber.
Is that what they want to do?
It's
Alistair
up to
doesn't give a fuck.
Percy.
I mean, Doran is being very adamant about.
I mean, not necessarily.
He doesn't. If the king is as they're saying he is, Doran wants nothing to do with him, and because he won't allow the church to be given, honestly, what it's been promised.
Well, might.
Yes, but from how you guys have explained him, he's leading to that side.
I think I'm gonna send a message to Percy and see what he says.
All right. I mean, because we're epiloguing right now, I'm not going to limit words. You can just get the message across to him that I ask him if he's interested in coming back and ruling with his old adventuring
just dab?
friends.
No, who would do that?
With his old adventuring friends as his
Yeah.
right-hand people and all as the leaders of all these important groups.
And so the only obstacle is your sleepy dad.
How would Percival respond?
How long has it been since he left the group?
In-game, couple months if I had to guess.
He went with Zelfer, not with Zelfer.
Yeah, but
But-
you split off eventually.
Yeah, eventually. So where did Zelfer? How far would he have gotten in? A couple
Zelfer
months?
went north a few days' walk to Ustaria. Beyond there, I don't know where.
Wait, we had rifles when Percy was around, right? Gloucester rifles.
Think so, yeah.
He would have gone to Gloucester then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how far is Gloucester from Direwood?
If I had to guess off the top of my head, about a week walk, maybe.
That's not that far, actually. I don't remember his voice at all.
If he was able to catch a ship, could be faster.
I don't even remember what I did for his accent.
It was
like
this.
Hi, I'm Percival.
He talked like this.
I don't care what you do with my dad. Canonically, he sounds like Hank Hill now. I've been in Gloucester for 3 months, and I don't care what the fuck you do with my dad.
Would that be the gist of his response, though? He's like,
Basically, I left because he was still alive. If you're changing the status of his living or dying condition, I would consider retaking the throne.
What if you were?
If Sam didn't want it.
What if you were to take care of it yourself?
Well, yeah,
If you're giving me the opportunity to come back and kill my own father and take the throne, I'll be there in a week.
Doran's on board for that because we could easily sneak him in there.
He would also add if Samael does not want the throne.
Maybe I'm gonna talk to Samael.
Sam is another. Yeah, he is.
Sam is the prime candidate. He was around when Direwood was founded. Percy understands that.
I wanna put on my stilts and be as tall as possible, and then go find Sam.
Well,
Yeah.
then I'd like you to answer for Sam because I know exactly what Jesse would say, and I don't like it.
Can we also potentially consider talking to Light and basically saying, "Hey, we got to change something here." In light of
What?
everything that's
I thought
going
you
on?
said that Light was still asleep. Hold on.
Once you guys got back, I've kind of assumed at this point we skipped a day or two ahead, kind of let people rest up, and you guys are figuring out what you're gonna do, sort of. So people are awake when you need to talk to them.
Like, want to talk to Light first?
Well, Doran wouldn't stay there much later than a day or two.
Yeah, I'm talking
So-
like a day and a half later.
Then yeah, Doran would like to go, but he goes, "This is what I was actually going to talk to Light about and see if he can guarantee me what I've already been promised, or if there was an asterisk attached to our agreement.
Well, let's go talk to Light
ask
first
him.
then before proceeding.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Easily done. So
I would be. Oh, so my robes are now completely like a light purple, like hysterium purple,
Yeah.
and very dressy. I have changed out of more combat attire. I've taken off my leather armor, so I'm very much. I look the part of what I am. I look like the
dig it.
leader of the church.
dig it.
Much more flowy and just kind
You
of
guys
dressy.
were going to light.
As have I.
Yeah.
Alistair has his armor off. He's back in his full suit.
Excellent. So you guys could easily find light. He would actually be resting up. He's not good yet, but he's awake, aware, recovering.
Does he look like how people look when they're hungover?
Like 20 shots last night, blacked out, no idea where he is. Physically, that's how he looks. Not good.
Nice.
Not good. But like he's there.
Also, my hair is now a little bit longer and almost stark white. Is the only other change. Doran would have his natural hair out,
All right.
which has never been cut because why would it be?
Okay. Well, you guys would find light, and he would ask you, "What can I help you with, friends?"
Hi, Jane.
He can just
Bye,
change
Jane.
it whatever he wants.
I'll be honest. I have some questions for you.
You got hijained.
You got hijained.
I in the past, before everything went to hell, and I took charge of the church, we had made some arrangements about the church's future in Direwood.
Right.
I would like to make sure that those arrangements are still there. Or if, when your actual leader wakes up, my arrangements are thrown out the window.
I can't guarantee anything about King Crafton, especially his waking up. From what I've
Boy,
heard,
do we have a solution for you.
we've done everything we can here. Unless any of you can do anything, he may remain
can.
like this forever.
Well, then my question is basically, how is the arrangements being treated?
Tell me precisely what you want, Doran.
I would like the church to be recognized as a real religion,
Done.
first and foremost. Secondly, I would like to allow people who have faith in the Rock to be allowed into the Cloaked Rangers without being treated as idiots or looked at terribly. I'd like that kind of to be started as an idea.
I am not personally a fan, but a religion is a religion. And you have proven that that is precisely what the Church of the Rock is. If somebody in my ranks decides that is what they believe in, that is what they wish to spend their time worshiping, so long as they can fulfill their duties, frankly, it's not my problem. How my people treat them for it is not up to me, though.
Fair enough. I mean, Six has already promised that he will work on repairing some of the damages he did with Savaris's name.
If he so wishes.
Because I have decided, because I don't believe Savaris wants to become a full Cloaked Ranger again. In regards to taking out the rest of the rats and securing your city, I will most likely be putting Savaris in charge of the church's side of it, because we have agreed to help with all of that.
He smiles a little bit. With the church and the Cloaked Rangers together, I'm sure it can be done. So long as all of you are sticking around at least a little longer.
I mean, I will be going back.
And the New Republic, probably.
And-
Hopefully, it will be done.
And the New Republic. If you can somehow make that happen,
I'm
this would
taking
be
it.
a cinch. But, Doran, I can assure you, over time, if your people fight alongside my people, There won't need to be any campaigning to make the Church of the Rock a regular religion.
Of course. Also, in regards to the deals that, okay, does Doran? Blake doesn't remember, and especially because he's not on Roll20. What was the arrangements made with Tara?
Between her and
Light.
What's that?
they never met.
Okay, well, what did we agree to on their behalf?
On the Cloaked Ranger's behalf,
Yeah.
in that meeting a while ago, you agreed to get a meeting between her and Light, and
That was it.
that was the end product of the meeting. I think there was some more in there, but there were no. I think there was kind of like okay, you do your thing, we'll do our thing. There was like no hostilities kind of laid out and a meeting arranged, but there was nothing more concrete than that I can remember.
Okay. I didn't know if there was agreement like, oh, if you do this, if we do this, you'll be helping with the farmland, or
Something like that might have been arranged, possibly, but Tara was murdered, so yeah.
murdered is a harsh word. She was taken care of when she
You're
tried
right.
to
She was
slaughter
slaughtered.
everyone.
Yeah, she was slaughtered for her slaughtering. Yes.
I would also like a secondary church within the city confines, rather than just a little outside of the one. Of course, I will take care of all the building and funds for that, so you will have to worry about none of it.
What the church does with their funds and their people and their resources once we take back our city, that's not my concern.
All right.
It'll be my duty to guard it. Nothing more.
Is there anything? Because I know we were going to set you up with a meeting with the old leader.
Well, it seems
before
that's
she
finally arrived, hasn't it?
Correct. What would you like from the church?
Well, you've already offered the service of your people in retaking Direwood, and for that, it will be theirs as well as ours. What I want from the church, frankly, my biggest concern is the hysterium still within the city. If you could take it upon yourselves to contain the hysterium. Bless you, Bess. If you could take it upon yourselves to contain it,
Bless you.
along with our aid and our support, but if you could head that and we could agree upon removing the toxic material from most areas. If you need it, if you would like to have it concentrated elsewhere where your people can do what you will with it.
Hysterium basement.
Whatever works. I just need to make sure that it is secure. It is once Direwood is cleansed, it is going to be one of my top priorities to keep track of and secure all Hysterium.
Of course, we're more than willing to, but we would like areas that are... Honestly, Ground Zero is going to be a pain in the ass to take care of. So that is... On the outskirts of where it's bad is where I was planning on setting up this second church.
There is also a monster in there.
Quite. And that is another thing to worry about.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
A fight for
Okay.
another day.
Yes.
Yeah.
My thoughts are... I would like
Hi.
a secondary building near Ground Zero, or what's left of Ground Zero when we take care of it.
You don't need my permission for that.
And for most of the Hysterium, I don't know if I want to completely destroy it or more relocate it. If that's possible, if the only solution is to destroy it for safety.
Can it be destroyed? Then there's your answer.
Fair enough. I would like to move the issue or work on that and put it into areas probably around our current church building.
So long as it doesn't interfere in the daily lives of those who do not wish to partake in it, I see no problem.
Of course. So,
Can I open Roll20 just to look at my character sheet?
Yeah, nothing
Okay,
stopping you.
of course.
Then we're agreed.
And then my only concern currently is if that man wakes up, I would hate for everything we've worked for to be for naught, if that makes sense.
That man is a rightful king of Direwood.
I'm not arguing that.
Speaking about the rightful king and who is in charge, in King Crafton's absence, should we look into having Percy come back or see if there are any options for that, or see if Sam is interested in taking command and really rebuilding Direwood for what it once was? Or what are your thoughts on this? Because that might help to solidify more information about the church as well for Doran.
I was never the biggest fan of Percival, but it is my duty to uphold the throne, and it is as rightfully his as it is Samael's with King Crafton's current condition. I've spoken with Sam at length about this, and he has agreed. He's a very dutiful man. If nobody else can take it, if nobody else will take it, he can do the job. But he is a guard. He has always been a guard, a trainer, a soldier. That is not his calling, if you will. His brother founded and ruled Direwood, and he guarded him with his life. And that's how he intends to spend the rest of his life.
How would you feel if one of them were to appoint someone to be ruling in their absence?
That's a funny thing. Honestly, it's never happened before, as far as I'm aware, in the history of this city. But I suppose if one of them were to take the throne and then willingly step down, they could, with their power, name the next king, ruler, queen, whoever it may be.
Interesting.
That would be within their authority.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No,
Doran.
thank you.
No, thank you. Doran, we're
No!
agreed. Thank you! Doran.
Thank you!
Thank you! Doran. Doran, we're agreed then. And he puts out his hand.
I would shake his hand. I will, of course, we will want this in writing eventually. So
That can be done. Ravina has also, and this is at the point where he would name both six and best generals. He looked at Doran with a funny face. She would like to have me give you a promotion, but I don't think you'll be taking that.
of course I won't.
And
No,
Alistair. She would... It was brought to my attention that perhaps you would fit in as a major in our ranks. However, if you're going to be taking over the New Republic, I'll have none of that.
Alright. I do plan on changing it a bit to not be, 100% nefarious as it is now. Maybe like a strong 60%.
Then I'll see you on the battlefield. Oh.
Currently just a guild of thieves and looters and barbarians. I mean, there's a fucking fighting ring in there, for God's sake. I guess we have one here too.
Well, if
Yeah,
there
but,
are any criminal
yeah.
intents behind the organization, you choose to run.
Not... Well,
I'm assuming Alistair might do it a little more,
I'm gonna do it more professionally.
and not in the open.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be as every city has, criminal activity. There's nothing. So it won't be mugging people in public or robbing people in public. More of the underground crime ring that exists everywhere.
You guys are really
Y'all are
selling
not
it.
selling this well.
I'm not trying to sell it well. I have nothing to sell to him.
We're more trying to make it so they're not fighting. And that light doesn't see the need to
Makes sense.
kill Alistair.
Honestly, I wanted to do something with medicine. After my father got shot in the head, I kind of felt useless that I couldn't do anything. Now, granted, I did, remove the arrow by cutting into him, but that's my strong suit. So I thought, what if I could do that professionally as a person who is people come to me to go, hey, can you remove this thing sticking out of my body? And I go, yeah.
So you want to become Alistair Kane, mob boss / surgeon.
Well, no, I'm thinking, what if I just ditch the mob boss part, go full surgeon, turn the New Republic into like, not a hospital,
It'd
but
be, it'd
a
be like
place people can
Freemasons,
go.
but with surgery.
resident-
it would be. It's not a hospital, but it's a hospital, you know?
A
Okay.
residency.
And
Yeah.
you want to train adventurers, brigands, thieves,
No, I didn't
looters.
know. no, I didn't say I wanted to train them. I'm gonna turn it into it. If they don't want it, they can leave.
Very well.
But that's one of the options. I don't
Well-
know if that's what I'm gonna go with yet.
He lays back, clearly very exhausted. Listen, Alistair. You do what you can with that group. But if there are any criminal actions taken by them, well, I'll be seeing you soon.
Sounds good. I like visits from friends.
Or at least, I'll do my best. And he just lays back and smiles a little bit.
All right. Well, I'm assuming I'm going to try to host a ceremony in the next few days from the church. And you're all going to be invited.
Thank you,
Can I wear my stilts?
Holden, did we by any chance level up?
I mean,
Oh.
I didn't. I guess it
For
would be a
purposes.
milestone. It would be a level up, but like,
Pointless one.
there's no reason to. Why are you looking to have a?
true. Because there's cool spells that I wanted and I had ideas with, but no, I can't use them.
Well, yeah. I mean, sure. If you want to level up your character, you go right ahead. But there's
will
no.
I will stop and look at Alistair. Alistair, you learn magic through books, correct?
Correct.
Crazy idea. If you'd be willing to, we can start up a magic school based off hysterium using the church and your skills.
I do want to experiment more with hysterium. Because that piano thing I did was really cool. It hurt, but
I might be able to convince some Helcom as well to help with it, and we could actually, using your skills, you could be both a surgeon and help create. Because I don't learn magic through reading, so teaching people,
Oh.
I can't do that.
if
That
I
might
could
also-
find Zimmer's books on Gistomancy. The party's talked about that before, right?
Doesn't Bess have one?
Yeah.
From the library? Yeah.
Yeah, so he knows. I know that me and Holden have talked about this, but I don't remember if Alistair has heard about this or not. I feel like he has.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. If I could carry on the research into Gistomancy, not go down the same path he did, but a better path.
I mean, we have 3 capable magic users and 6.
True. I think 6 with magic would probably be
That's
cataclysmic. I don't think
I mean,
he could be
The
stopped.
thing is, technically, 6 is a very capable magic user. His fists are literally magic.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
just
but
concentrated in a different way than you guys.
Doran just loves to give him shit for being that. So we
Oh,
could,
of course.
Alistair, I would love if that's something you'd want to do with me. We could honestly fully create a new school of magic with the church as a background for it.
I'd absolutely be willing to look into that.
And that way you don't have to, and I look at Light, to be a
It
part
sounds
of a
so much
mob.
better than turning the New Republic into whatever the fuck I was gonna do.
If you were to do something like that and take the place of the Octarine Assembly, then, frankly, you could do... If you're anything like them, you could perform some pretty illegal activities and get away with it.
I already do. Well, I have. I don't think I've actually done anything super illegal recently. Before I came
Alistair,
here,
I haven't seen it.
Alistair. I'm the last person to be saying this to.
I mean, in your current condition, actually, you are the
right
first.
now I don't think you can stop me
He'll arrest
properly.
you.
I will attempt to arrest you, and it won't be
I
pretty
don't
for
want
anyone.
to put you to sleep.
I
And
don't.
I'm not saying kill. I'm saying literally I will put you to sleep.
I believe you right now.
You will need a nap.
I
And
will.
it'll be a good nap. You'll wake up kind of refreshed.
I'll sick
I think
Sam
he
on
already
you.
does
You
need
do
a
not
nap.
want to have Sam sick on you. He will sit
I
on
do
you,
have
and you
a
will not
feeling-
wake up for a week.
I think I can outrun him.
I think we're stronger than him.
Has he been leveling up with us?
Yes.
Zelfer wasn't.
Holden's like, he is now.
He is now, because Sam, I just realized, has been in Direwood this entire time. So just now he leveled up like 2 or 3 times. Yeah.
Right.
Sam just in his office, like Super Saiyan.
I was just gonna say his hair like pops out of his helmet, just a yellow mane.
Okay. So,
What if we put Pettifer? See,
I think we-
honestly, I like the guy, but I don't think he's gonna be a good leader.
I think we actually just need to work on dismantling the New Republic.
Yeah, that's probably a
Um,
better idea.
I'm
If
sure.
I could lead the Octarine Assembly, I want to be the leader of something. You're the leader of a church. Bess and Six both have their high-ranking positions in the Cloaked Rangers, but I'm just a guy.
You're
you know?
gonna, if you are willing to do this with me, you will take complete charge of it,
Yeah,
and
let's
I will.
do that.
and
That's
that-
a good idea.
And then we'll have a new school of magic, and we will teach from
Be
here.
Wait, no.
I-
Okay, too nefarious.
I'd really like to help with that.
Of course, you're more than willing to. You've helped me with my cantrip or my level 3 spell. We could work on that.
The Mage's Tower that attacked us on the way out. Who owns that?
right
You
now,
now.
the New Republic.
I
Nice.
straight up say to Alistair, you now.
So
Indeed.
that begs the question then: what is going to happen with the New Republic?
We're
If,
gonna eat them.
if we agree to this,
Cannibalism. Okay.
do we know that they're gonna slowly fall apart without the queen? Like
The
that's
How
Queen
many
didn't do
members-
so much leading per se before, so probably not.
How many
It-
members are there?
Alistair, you'd have a slightly better idea than everyone else, but you guys have been there. You would have to guess maybe 30 people or so frequent the place. 30 to 50 at this point.
What if we set up a
Oh,
coup, kind
No,
of?
the last time actually you saw like most of the people who kind of frequented, that was when you fucked over Pettifer. That arena was filled with like 50 people maybe or so. So yeah.
What if we staged a raid?
I believe we could easily take that out.
I absolutely believe that as well. If we staged a raid, took people who weren't willing to come quietly or who were looking for a fight in, and we basically gave them the choice of, relocate yourself or join the Cloaked Rangers.
I'll tell you guys right now, if the 4 of your characters with a level up went into the New Republic right now,
We could sweep them.
with the aim to arrest or get rid of one way or another anyone who wanted to, with the aim of a raid like that, with those intentions to dismantle the New Republic, you guys might be able to do it. There are a lot of it's filled with adventurers, so these aren't just like common folk. These are people who have survived the inner city of Direwood in its chaotic state. But the 4 of you heading a raid backed up by the Cloaked Rangers and the church, you'd have little trouble.
Would it also help if we spread word and started the rumor that it was happening and basically that they needed to leave, the queen is dead? Would that help our odds heavily?
Your best guess? Some would be like, fuck this, gigs up, I'm out. And then those who stayed would be better prepared to defend themselves.
Well, we know more ways in. So basically, yeah, I think if I don't know if everyone else is on board, but just removing the New Republic through that method, just going in, raiding them, taking care of them that way.
That could be
Just
done.
Folding the rest
Not
into
going for
Direwood
lethal.
proper.
We don't want people to die in this, so we'd just be doing our best to not kill anyone, but
Yeah.
Give them the
Between-
choice. Either you leave and don't come back, or you get arrested.
and if you want to try to fight us, we will.
You got a ring in the other room over there. I'll meet you there in 5
Yeah,
minutes.
we'll oblige. We
Why
will
can't
oblige.
we offer the work that we don't want to do, like that lighthouse that we heard about that needs to be checked out? Why don't we offer them work to,
Because if we
course.
turn away for a minute, then boom, that's the new
Ooh,
base.
turning it into an adventurers guild in Direwood, that would be neat.
We could do that.
It's up
But-
to you. You guys are deciding the fate of Direwood, so
So what do we want it to be an adventurers guild? Do we want to just get rid of it?
Why don't we relocate them and turn it into an adventurers guild?
I
Because
feel like
that could
that's a
be
good
really
idea.
helpful. That might
That
help
sounds
us
like
get.
a great
move them and turn them into an adventuring guild.
Okay, so bigger picture stuff right now. The party is kind of going their separate ways, but staying in Direwood for now to work on their own things. The Cloaked Rangers and the Church of the Rock are going to be working very closely together to dismantle the New Republic and turn it into an adventurers guild, as well as clearing out the rats and the remaining dangers in Direwood and cleaning up the hysterium to some degree, etc., etc.
Yes.
Okay, so then. Here's something you guys might have forgotten about that needs to be taken care of. What about Marcus and his followers?
That is up to one person and one person alone. I will look at
It's
six.
really. I was trying to avoid it for as long as possible, but I mean it depends on how they are. I would eventually go back to visit and find them and see what's going on.
They're creatures who have been altered with hysterium, right?
Yeah.
Why couldn't we just study them at our school of gistomancy?
Because Malcolm said they were reverting to full ratling.
Essentially,
Oh, they flowers for
yeah.
Algernon it.
if you
I know,
go
it's
there,
just
if
sort
Six
of-
were to kind of pay a visit, sneak a peek, they're becoming kind of feral. They're without their regular supply and dosage of hysterium and not knowing how to get it themselves. They're going feral.
And I would
Well,
tell
then I would
Six,
very much like to attempt to get them under control, help this new school and the church, since they are very vested in this hysterium research and whatnot. I would implore them to attempt to figure out what's going on, help to save them, help to, supply them with enough that they're not going to immediately die or whatever. Go ahead.
So you want to try to ingratiate them into this process of research.
I would like to.
Okay.
If it becomes impossible, then I would.
Then probably two of the only rolls tonight. I need Six to make an animal handling, or is anyone else helping him?
I will tell Six that Malcolm has specifically said he wants nothing to do with the rats, and he will be part of the research team if Alistair will have him.
I would like to be there to
Well,
say
then
bye
he's
to
not gonna do
James
anything
if
to
it
them.
so happens that it needs to be done.
Well, it's up to you guys. Six, with that in mind, are you still gonna try to? What's the play?
Yeah, if he doesn't want anything to do with the rats, that's fine. He's not gonna torture them or anything. So I would, like I say, try to make sure that they have a decent life. Try to make sure that they're sort of kept up, provided for, kept safe. I don't know if that means in like a
How feral
jail
are they?
cell or a reserve somewhere.
They're
But-
behaving mostly like you guys have had a couple of encounters with rats within the city that kind of just like come out and just like stab at you and scurry away when they're losing and are just basically goblins. That's kind of where they're at now.
Does James recognize me?
Do they recognize us at all?
There would be recognition, but it doesn't look like Marcus recognizing a friend. It looks like Marcus recognizing
No, James.
Oh, well, right, but I'm just like for the
okay.
sake of it doesn't look like, because Marcus and James were two of the most intelligent. It doesn't look like them recognizing friends. It looks like them recognizing things that are not immediately hostile. You know how like if you try to cuddle up to a cat and it kind of like isn't about it. The cat doesn't attack you, but like they let you know they're not about it.
Yeah,
They're kind of that's how they kind of react to you guys.
gotcha.
Do they still speak? Do they seem to recognize any language whatsoever?
Yeah, they still speak broken up common.
We want to help you.
I would help
Me.
translate
Six.
in rat.
Interact. Okay. So Bess is gonna
Oh,
you guys are going
Good
in.
call. However, I'm just hold on before she does. I'm just going to point out it's not entirely necessary because they can understand me.
Oh
perfectly,
right, that's right.
Thanks to yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
I speak every language.
Yeah, if you are going to try to kind of save them here and try to put them back on track with hysterium and maybe have them have some part in the research later, you're gonna need an animal handling and a charisma check.
Okay. We'll go ahead and pull up roll 20.
I mean, I can roll them for you, or however you want to handle this, because I have everything pulled up.
Go ahead and roll.
Okay, so I'm gonna roll your animal handling and your
My
charisma.
bonus is
Skill check.
Can I give him help with that? With the animal handling, at least?
That much, yes. I'll give him
Yes.
advantage on that. And then charisma. What do we have? We have, with the animal handling, an 8, and the charisma, an 11.
Oof.
That's rough.
those were my rolls.
Yeah. They would attack you.
Well, I stopped them.
Just, I mean,
I used Doran's Wall of Force.
I just simply
I'm not
stopped
there.
them.
Doran would not be helping with this part of it. He has made
Still
his
use it.
he has made his opinion of it clear, and he would be.
Oh wait,
accepted.
I have command in my ring. I'm going to try to use it.
okay, that's a
How are you gonna stop all these
one-word.
rats?
That's a
I'm just
one-word
built
command
different.
you can use on like Marcus or something. Yeah.
This is a verb. Friend.
Okay.
You know, hey Holden, friend me.
Yeah, you gotta friend me on Oculus so we can play Beat Saber together. Okay. That
Hey, I've
would.
heard that one before.
Yeah, that would temporarily stop Marcus's aggression, and the rats would follow suit. But that wouldn't last long.
Okay. Then I would attempt to use this momentary momentum to make forward gains.
Okay, it's gonna be. I'm gonna allow you another animal handling check for that move, with advantage still, with Bess's help. We'll see if you make the DC. With advantage, that's a 22 now. Okay, clever move. With that, Marcus would start to recognize you. He would call you by name, but they'd still be going rather berserk. But with that momentum you have gained and that trust you have
Okay.
kind of reinstilled, you would be able to give them hysterium, bring them back to their kind of normal, eventually, mostly tamed selves, and use them however, or put them wherever in later. So, yeah, okay. Essentially, you've saved their lives.
Excellent.
Okay,
Excellent. That's basically all I wanted.
all right.
I specifically
Alright.
want James as my right-hand rat.
That can be
Um,
done.
If I may, as kind of a long-term thing, what Six always kind of wanted to do was, and if they become stable enough to do this, to want to work on something, concentrate on something, that's totally cool. He would love to he would love to, with the rats, reopen the Rat Tail Brewery, kind of where everything started. Show them, they started getting a little bit of interest in kind of the brewing stuff and whatnot. Show them how to brew beer. Show them, all of these things about it, and essentially have, a place where they're kind of they're monks. They have their own little place. They're making beer. They're selling it. They have people come to visit them. They have the medical treatment they need, the hysterium. All
So
that
this
stuff,
is-
but it's basically funded through the beer.
This is something actually, I have individual questions, individual things for each person. The first one I had for Six was, so what about opening that tavern or brewery? Is this your brewery? And it's going to be run by the
That would be
rats?
the brewery.
All right.
It's called Rat Tail
Re-
2.
Ratel Tui.
Fuck.
Okay, my next question following this one up is: who the fuck goes to a a tavern that completely is run by rats? Like, who goes?
It's a tourist
It's a
trap.
brewery.
It's a Direwood trademark.
It's a novelty.
When you hear drink this potion, what does it do? I don't know.
Okay,
It's on the
okay, but
house.
think
Besides, man,
about
what-
cat cafes. Cat cafes make bank.
There you go.
Well, that's because cats are lovable. These are
Plus,
fucking
people have
rats.
no
I
idea.
was gonna say, like, I would love to go to a cafe run by
Oh,
like
man.
rats with hands.
Man.
I mean, with cats with hands and like intelligence, but
I would
rats.
too. Oh, I'd rather do the rats. I have owned many rats in my life, and they are adorable brilliant, loving
Yeah,
creatures.
Isaac,
so
I think you're
many.
with your little friend James. I think Isaac, you're in the worst position to be like shitting on this.
Yeah, true.
Okay,
Dor-
so in the
Doran
long term,
would do
anyway.
his best to help like it out and send people that way and and he wouldn't help supply hysterium per se, but in the interest of like he's removing it from the city and he's part of that group. He
That's
would make
one
sure
place it
some
can
of it,
go.
he'd make sure some of it found its way there during that.
Just put the rats in the city. It's just like goats in a pasture. It's like the goat eats the grass, you get your grass cut, and the goat gets a meal. You put the rats there, the rats clean up the hysterium, the rats are sane.
And you
But-
get a beer. Like-
I would look at 6 and go, what happens when we're done relocating the hysterium? And there's none
We'll
left.
go from there.
I mean, these
We'll
are
burn that bridge when we get
there's
to
a
it.
lot of hysterium, and frankly, these rats aren't going to live forever.
Okay.
They're
So it's not a
rabbits.
concern.
It's
not a concern.
not an immediate concern. No.
Okay. Then Doran would drop it and help. He was very uneasy, but he
Right.
would show interest in helping out Six. Then.
Okay. Okay.
I'm so glad that I didn't have to do what I thought I was gonna have to do to James. Fuck.
Killing him.
Yeah, really sadly, because he's kind of Alistair's favorite animal he's ever met.
Yeah.
Doran would tape to vitrolic sphere the rats.
Oh, he was gonna give James a hug and then mind spike him.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That would be rough. That would be rough. Okay, so back to bigger picture things. We're kind of fast forwarding a little now, but we can go back if there's other things we wanted to do. The bigger picture here is the end of Direwood. The story is Doran taking over the church and working with the Cloaked Rangers alongside Bess and Six to help Alistair completely dismantle the New Republic and use its resources to start his own research, like medical research using hysterium, but also like in tandem with Doran and Bess researching hysterium and justomancy in general. So you guys are working on this, and those forces all together are going to fairly easily be able to take care of the rest of the like feral, deadly rats and such. While backed by the Cloaked Rangers again, the church will begin building their new church next to Ground Zero and clearing up and concentrating areas of hysterium so that people can move back in.
Yep.
Six will be opening his brewery back up, a new brewery, the Rat Tail 2, whatever you want to call it. That's where the rats will be. There's still
How
the question
long-
though. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No.
No, I'm just wondering how long it'll be. The level up thing was kind of significant because once I hit my level where I can get a 9th level spell, he's going to learn Wish, and that's kind of his end game.
I don't think you guys were ever gonna hit level 20.
I know, but just now that the campaign's kind of over, is there any point in time in his life where he would?
If that's something he wanted to pursue,
I mean, he's been wanting to learn the Wish spell since
you
his
guys
mother died.
theoretically could continue quote unquote leveling up if you're all working on the magic and such together. Yeah.
I mean,
Cool.
That could happen
So that's-
very long down the road. Yeah.
How
we
did
can
we
get to
get to that library, that secret library?
that was
There
What was
was outside the Mages Guild Tower, the Octarine Assembly Tower. There was a good walk
Passage?
away. There was a passage, yeah, hidden trapdoor passage that led into it.
I would.
Was Alistair there for that?
Yeah.
I'd go back there at some point
Okay.
and do a thorough search.
Yeah, you guys could get together, could find all of these old research and studying materials from
I don't
the
want to be
Octarine Assembly.
Remember one time you said there was a wish spell in there.
What's that?
I remember one time you said there was a wish spell in there.
There was a chance of there being a wish
You told
spell
me
scroll.
there was.
I told you there was a chance. There always was
Oh.
a chance.
I would like to talk to Six about Durathil taking over the Adventurers Guild as leader.
Ooh.
Pog.
That way we have our friends in charge of. Basically,
I
we
have a
own
problem with
Direwood.
that. I think exactly.
In one
Yeah.
way,
No,
shape,
I
or
don't think
form,
it's a
any
problem.
group in Direwood, we know who's in charge.
I'd kind of set my dad up to be the bartender there.
He'd gladly, yeah.
Perfect.
Sweet. Okay, yeah. So the Adventurers Guild, you guys want to name it?
I will leave that to.
Bronze toads are us.
Nope. Instant veto.
No, instant veto is worse.
You're so funny, Jason.
I know.
Okay.
I would ask Light for his opinion.
He would have no opinion on such a thing. He wouldn't like the idea of an adventurers guild in Direwood. It sounds like it would cause problems
Let's
for the
Dareth
guard.
name it. Fuck it. It's his guild, goddammit.
Okay. Well, if you guys brought this opportunity, if you were to like magically message him,
The
he
Direwood Dungeoneers.
he would remind you. He would remind you. You guys do owe me a favor, and I think this would be a good way to repay.
Yeah, then
So name it.
he's got it. He's got the guild.
He will run the guild. He will gladly run the guild.
Alright.
Sweet.
I would like to keep,
he'd have to agree to like still work with everyone in the city. He
6
can't-
is so quiet for me.
Sometimes, yeah.
I'm so sorry. I
have
will
you
speak
hit
more
200%?
loudly now.
And even like that, it's like it's crazy.
I would like to make
I'm
sure
sorry.
that still understands that he does have to work with everyone in the city, and he's like not just his independent asshole. He can't just.
He'd be a bit of like an independent asshole, but he'd be like, yes, I understand.
I mean, he
It has
is
to
a
be
cat,
legitimate."
so
Well, listen, I will run things my way, and I will stay within the limits of the law for now. How about this?
We have a lot of jobs for you, and
Good.
we want to have this partnership.
And it will be a very lucrative partnership.
I'm fine with that.
As am I.
I am as well.
Okay.
Fuck what Light thinks.
Yeah, I mean, he can't stop you.
Especially if we're-
There's
Us and putting our own in charge.
there are kind of only two more. If Light assumes command of the Cloaked Rangers once again, which you guys have ensured, there are only two more big picture questions, really, unless you guys had any or any other thoughts as far as big picture. Still haven't figured out who's gonna rule Direwood.
I would ask before I set off to the church. I would voice my concern for Crafton again, because if we actually build the city up, we are going to attract people who might have the power to bring him back.
I would like to make sure that doesn't. Oh, sorry. Go ahead there.
I would like to talk to Sam about assuming the throne, about him assuming the throne and then appointing someone. I'm not trying to angle for the position of the ruler or whatever. That's not my prerogative, but Sam might have some insights as to who would be a good fit. Like, would he appoint Light to be the leader then? Would he appoint... I'd like to talk to him about it.
Sam would,
Frankly,
Sam would, unless Six has anything else to say about it, he would be willing to take the throne and help Direwood rebuild. He has built Direwood before. He can do it again. But once that is done, once things are settled, he would default to appointing it to Light, probably, his commanding officer.
6 would volunteer, strangely enough, to take this challenge and to lead these people forward. He's so vested in the goodwill, in the rebuilding of this place, of this city, and of its people. That's all. I mean, that besides the rat thing and the brewery and that would be amazing. The only thing he's done is work for the people here and for the of this place, and it is an incredibly difficult job. He is totally understanding of that. It's going to be incredibly difficult for anybody that takes it on. But with Six's experience and what the way he's been working for the people of Direwood and for the area and for the restoration, he would take it as a personal charge to continue.
Sam would offer you a deal then, providing the rest of the party is okay with it.
I would voice nothing but excitement and willing to work with 6 100% as long as he's not himself. And I'd give him a little wink.
Sam would offer
Of
then,
course.
basically, to take charge, to technically take the throne, until, because he has, as he said, he's built Direwood before. He thinks, he's certain he can do it again. He'll take the throne until you feel Direwood is in a place where you're ready to take it from him. And he will gladly step down and give it to you so he can get back to doing what he is called to do.
6 would very graciously accept.
Okay.
Okay, that's a development.
And then how do we take care of the actual guy?
I know a guy.
I'm all for saying, hey, Beth thinks she might be able to heal him, but there's a chance he dies. I mean,
Oh, fuck. He died in his sleep last night. That's crazy.
That is Doran's thought. How does the group feel? I mean, we caused 2 people who were put to sleep before to wake up. We have a chance, and then we just...
Holden, would I be
We
able
don't
to go
necessarily-
investigate the type of sleep that he's fallen under and see if I could tell what it is?
You would be able to tell it's not the same as what happened to Ravina and Alistair's father.
Would I be able to tell what it is?
This would be something more akin to like a supercharged sleep spell.
Would I have any idea how difficult
So
it would be
if
to
we don't-
break?
As best as you can tell, with your understanding of magics and your capabilities, you would either need you'd have to concoct like some crazy potion that may have been a quest line earlier that we never got to, or it would take a lot. You would
I
know.
guess I'm just trying to gauge.
If we don't look too close,
What are you trying to
What?
gauge?
How
Are you trying to gauge if it's possible?
How dangerous it would be to leave him alive if somebody would be able to come in and wake him up.
Oh, you're pretty certain, like, you have no idea. If the magical effect, this is how spells work, if the person who, you would understand this is not a concentration spell, basically. The person who put the spell, presumably, is no longer doing it, and he is still this way and has remained this way for as long as you have seen him.
How long has it been since he's eaten?
He is fed daily.
Oh. Lame.
with a tube? Ouch.
But like, how likely is it that some adventurer would come along and be able to concoct this magical potion and bring him back?
If
Alistair's vote is to kill him, and that's...
If he were left alive and it was public knowledge that he was alive in a deep slumber, certainly adventurers would be called to the glory and gold that could be in for them if they were to bring that king back. You don't know if anyone could do it, but people certainly would try.
I just think it's suspicious, but we can, if everybody else wants to kill him, we can.
Well, I mean, if we warn them that we think we have a way to do it, but it could result in his death. Holden, with Doran's ability to lie, does he know he could probably convince everyone that it was, like, we tried our best and it resulted in his death?
You could pretty certainly accomplish this, but there would also pretty certainly be rumors.
Sure.
Whether those ever became a problem,
yeah,
who
I
knows?
mean-
But you're pretty certain you could convincingly make it seem like we figured it out, we've toiled, we've got this, we know, but if we try this, you could.
If we do then decide that course of action, wouldn't Percy want to come back and take the throne? Would then null and void 6 and...
That's so weird how Priest sent an assassin after they tried to firebomb the city.
Well, how does assassin get past people?
You have an invisible spell, Doran. I'm sure he does too.
So you want to start a fresh war with Priest and Direwood?
Didn't they just do that?
It was an offshoot of the military. We stopped it, and apparently no one else had any idea what was going on.
For all you know, that's what Priest is telling its people.
Priest is like, oh, our airship blew up? That's so weird. What the hell? I wonder what it was doing over there.
Actually, you guys would hear after a few weeks. News would spread once cleaning up Direwood and actual reclamation was taking place, like visibly. people would start coming to Direwood. Like, oh shit, like it would be like Wild West, like people migrating over and populating and taking advantage of fresh opportunities. Once Direwood was starting to visibly come back, people would come over, and you would start to hear news of like how Priest was saying, in this tragic accident with this ship meant to aid Direwood. They were trying to cover it up, like, well, whether this was the truth or not. They were trying to say they were going to help Direwood. They sent their best ship and their best men, and a tragic accident occurred in which the ship blew up. But their relationship with Direwood is still strong, and they've been aiding as best they can. They haven't done shit.
What happens to the?
It's
What
so
happened
nice
to the
of
other
us.
people?
To what people?
The people at the old Cloaked Rangers headquarters.
Those troops of that were once Willows, without a commanding officer, would have just kind of held their post for like a week until somebody showed up and pulled them out. Actually, after that ship, Priest would have entirely pulled out, claiming that they were still helping Direwood. You would hear.
I wouldn't argue with them and try to fuck that up. I put my vote into telling Percy that we have ask Percy if it's okay if Six takes charge, given he has been here, and see if he's okay with it.
We should ask then. I would relay that.
If Sam didn't want it,
Fair.
If Sam didn't want it, or the deal was that Sam would take charge until the city was built, and then he would pass it on to Six.
So what are you doing with the king?
Taking care of it.
In a way,
If you need someone to come in and do it no strings attached and get out, I can be there.
I think it's best to do it that way. I mean,
Let him do it.
Let him have his revenge.
let him have his
Let him do it.
revenge. I'd use greater invisibility and make sure he doesn't get caught too,
Yeah. All right.
and just have him, and basically have him kill and run in the midst of everything. So we're all hunting for this invisible assassin.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you guys could stage something where you create an opening for Percival to come in, murder his father, and dip, and then you guys are like, "Oh God, the Kingsman's killed. What's going on?" And then you could easily stage this. That would have been a great session, actually. But yeah, that could occur if you guys want to stage the murder and then actually murder him. Yeah, let Percival have his revenge and then dip. If Percival's cool with that, that's what happens.
So
And with
Crystal
that,
says I'll be there in a week.
and Sam not being in on it might be a little suspicious, but would be forced to take up the throne and do good on his deal with Six.
well, I mean, Light knew of Percy's involvement, right? And Percy's feelings of his father.
Yes.
Light was more than aware of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Percy would say in the message that he's more than willing to become a fugitive for this.
Yeah, simple.
It's not like
We
he's coming
don't-
back.
We don't hide it. We somehow sneak him in there ourselves, but we
You don't need to. He can teleport.
But
But they like kind of create the opportunity. They make
Yeah.
it easy, so you have a moment to bid your farewells and fucking murder his ass,
yeah. We
and then
also
quote unquote get caught, and then
are
dip.
yeah, just don't. Yeah, he escapes. It's simple. We don't hide who kills him. It becomes
Okay,
public
this
knowledge
would
that
work. This would
that
work.
Percival Crafton came back to kill his father.
All right.
So, no rumors necessary. No, oh, did they help? No, we just say Percival snuck past us because we were busy, killed his dad, and got away. And any knowledge on where he is would be helpful.
Okay.
But-
So the story is, once our campaign is over, the party begins to take their places as rulers in various respects. The Cloaked Rangers and the church work together to clear out Direwood and do all that, and the New Republic is dismantled, and you guys start your Gistomancy research with Alistair at the head. You create a mages guild, not a mages guild, an adventurers guild with Durathil running it, and then Doran, the leader of the church, Bessa, general of the Cloaked Rangers, Six, the future king of Direwood, and Alistair, the leader of the Gistomancy research facility, plot
that sounds
to
cool.
murder the king and then have Sam put in his place, and then Six will eventually. That is what happens. Yeah,
That's fucking.
That's amazing.
yeah, sure.
I love it.
That is pretty. That is all but one of my big picture questions. But that last big picture question, we can get to in a moment. For now, I have some questions. I have some individual questions for you guys.
Okay.
So for Bess, this one may have already been answered, but I'm gonna start with you. Jason, I'm getting a little bit of background noise. I don't know if you're gonna be super
so sorry.
quiet. Okay. Let me just turn you up slightly. Sorry. So Clara,
No problem.
Bess showed a lot of interest in the Octarine Assembly. Is she still going to pursue that interest, or is her arcane hunger for knowledge going to be sated by her research in gistomancy and her work with Doran and Alistair? What's going on with that?
I think that Bess will be happy working with Doran and Alistair on gistomancy. I think
Okay.
that'll be kind of good full circle for her, since she so often, like at least in her backstory, she really looked up to Zimmer and what he was working
She
towards.
was raised
and
around it, yeah.
To be able to reclaim that and turn it back into something good would be
Oh yeah.
something she would love to do.
I like that arc. Okay. So that also begs another question.
And when the time is right, I would like to point out that Six would ask Bess to become his queen.
Pog.
Pog.
She'd say yes.
Pog.
Absolutely.
Pog.
Doran would offer to officiate because he's like.
Can Doran officiate? Can Doran officiate?
By the power vested in me, by
Yeah!
that tiny rock.
Let's
yeah, I can.
go! Yeah!
Can Alistair be the flower girl?
Yeah.
Yeah!
Alistair can be like the best man and the bridesmaid.
Best man. There you go.
Maid of honor.
There you go.
He's got both.
Handmaid.
That's beautiful.
We just have a fucking
What a
cute
great
nest.
Hell yeah. What a great...
I-
I love that.
Barrelin gets like 500
Yeah.
gold from us.
Oh, yeah. Barrelin is supplying for that.
Oh,
that is going to have
yeah.
the best fucking catering.
We should encourage him to open up a franchise here in Direwood as well.
Oh God, yeah.
If you subsidized it, if you like gave him a little head start, he would absolutely move.
100%.
If you guys gave him a head start, he would absolutely move to Direwood.
We gotta stimulate the economy.
It works.
That's right. Based on cakes and beer.
Direwood's got some really weird things.
That's why it's the best place on earth. We always
Love
knew
it.
it could be.
I love it. Okay. Next was I had some questions for Alistair, but we actually kind of touched on all of them. So we'll get back to you in a minute. Doran.
Nice.
I was gonna ask you. You had 100 platinum to go toward the church.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like we've already answered this question. Like, where is it gonna go? It's gonna go to you starting the church in the city. I
Starting
assume.
the church in the city, and I asked for a list of priorities with the current church.
Yes. With the current church, I did have that. I'm not gonna pull it up now, but it was basically redoing that church, making it bigger, expanding it a little bit, and consecrating it. If you're with your plans to move into the city, consecrating it and officiating it as the kind of holy ground. Like it would be a bit of a. It would be a religiously important place. It would be like the place people, somebody who worships the Rock in Gloucester, this would be where they would make a pilgrimage to.
Yeah,
Basically
and
sprucing it up, expanding it, cleaning out the downstairs, the basement, and purchasing supplies so that they can more easily take care of travelers and people who attend the church. Like a proper stove and all these things.
Yeah, and Doran's got like 400 gold on him right now that he'd also put into it. Yorlin would take over the city, the one in the city.
Okay.
I would give him that one and be like, this is our external one. I will take care of the pilgrimage one because I am like really high up in the church. But that would be the separation.
Yorlin would gladly take that.
Malcolm would stay with me and he'd be, if he was okay with it, be between me and Alistair.
Okay.
Because I'm assuming he'd be okay with helping with the research on hysterium.
Yeah, he would love to actually.
Yeah.
He would offer a lot of helpful insights and get that like facility like Alistair that research Gistomancy research facility Alistair is starting, and he would get a big head start with Malcolm's help.
So Holden,
Yes.
I'd like to go back to those caves with 6. What did we get?
Those what with 6?
Those caves with the gargoyles. We said we were gonna go back. What do we get?
Oh.
Hell yeah.
You guys wanted to go back? There would in fact be gold. Each chest would contain a couple hundred gold. But both chests are mimics, and so you'd get a battle.
Oh. Neat.
But the magic of the gargoyles would have disappeared.
Oh.
So you would just have to fight a couple mimics and get 400 gold out of it.
Fuck. Okay.
I was gonna learn a language and go back and talk to them.
No, they were magically, they were the queens.
Delicious.
Magically delicious.
Thank
Fuck
you,
both
Jason.
of you.
You're great.
Fuck both of you.
Yeah, that was one of the rewards you said is bless
Yep,
the
blessing of the
language
gargoyle.
of the gargoyles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck.
So 6.
Damn.
Sir.
Your tattoos never go away. Is this something that you want to explore as you continue in Direwood? Is this gonna be an oddity you leave alone? How do you handle that?
Here's where I go with it. Some surface information, stuff like that. 6 would be interested in. If anybody else was like, I wonder what the connection is between this and hysterium, he would not stop anyone from researching them or anything like that. But as far as he's concerned, they're just part of him, and as long as they're not seeming to cause any harm or anything like that, he assumes they're just a part of him. He is interested in we're pretty sure he saw the ship that was incoming kind of before it showed up. So he would pay attention to see if there were things like if he recognized symbols that popped up through the day, stuff like that. If that was the case, he would start to pay more attention to it and start to try to maybe not necessarily figure out why, but at least sort of make use of it a little bit of the potentiality of the whole thing.
If you would allow it. Oh, go ahead, Clara.
If we do go back through like Zimmer's notes, would we find any information?
Oh, good call.
You would find spells he was working
That's a really
on
good
for
call.
Gistomancy.
And like specifically related to Six's tattoos.
Not
Or
to Six's
6.
tattoos.
Anything about 6? Because
I can't
from what we
believe
gathered,
I almost
Zimmer knew
forgot
how he was made.
LMAO, haha.
Sorry, 3 people just talked at once. It was Blake, Jason, and Isaac subscribing on Twitch. What was that?
I almost forgot.
I would like to know if there's anything about the creation of 6 in his past.
That's 30 months, by the way. Nice.
Damn.
Pog.
Pog. In Zimmer's notes, there wouldn't be much about 6. There would be mention of test subjects, living test subjects, but there was never there would be reference to test subject 7, 8, 6. Their numbers. There were 12 of them, and 6 was actually an experiment on divination magic infused into hysterium. And you guys would come to learn that his tattoos are divination based and can in fact in weird funny ways kind of predict the future. Like 60 would notice when you get that retail brewery back up, you would wake up that morning, we were like, okay, the rats are in, we're gonna get like moving stuff, cleaning the place up. You would get a tattoo on your bicep of a little rat, a comical little rat, like spilling beer all over, and it would be a mess trying to get the rats to like you get little divinations from them. And you guys would learn that that's what 6.
That's cool.
That's what experiment 6 was divination magic with hysterium.
That's fucking epic.
Yeah.
Do
I can't believe we didn't
we
use that at
find
all
anything
throughout
about Durathil?
Durathil was number. Oh Christ. I'd have to go way back in my notes.
Does 6 want a new name?
7.
Was he? I think he was 7.
Girtho's number 15.
I think he was 7. 6 likes his moniker. I mean, you can totally call him anything else, and that
Rick.
becomes his name to that person. You know, it's very, very
You're
personal
king
or whatever. But
6.
yeah, he's good with 6. Maybe that's a good point. Maybe we should figure out a more official sounding
The
moniker.
6th dynasty. What does that mean? Do you take Bess's last name
sixth.
because she has one?
Maybe we figure one out for. I mean, yeah. he
Well,
would-
because you don't have one, but she does. You can just take hers. Who needs math? Who needs
Yeah.
messing up?
I found my notes on Direwood. He was in fact
Yeah.
number 7, and he was the
Okay.
experimentation on enchantment magic being infused into a hysterium infused person. And that is why he was such a successful mercenary, whatever you'd call him, assassin. He was exceptionally good at convincing people to let him into places. He was exceptionally good at talking his way out of situations.
Interesting.
He had little boosts to
Okay,
enchantment.
I like it. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's funny. I mean, this,
Cool.
yeah. We can get into some of that later. But, okay. So, with that...
I would like to make it clear with Alistair and anyone who's doing the research, we will never be testing on people again. That's out the window. Obsolete. No.
Fine.
Good call.
Unless the person specifically wants to.
Yeah, if they consent, then maybe.
Such
but
as
I
the future king. Yeah.
But more of a hey.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree.
Sure.
Then I only have 2 more questions for specific players, and then 1 question for all of you. Bess, what of your father?
Yo, daddy.
Do you ever try to find him? Do you ever, or do you let that go?
Can you circle back to me?
I will. Doran, on a similar note, what about seeing the gang, your family? Do you ever reach out to them?
Actually, I do my best not to.
You do your best to distance.
But okay, knowing my family and how they work, the recreation of a city
They
is
will
really
be
good
coming.
thinking. I will make it if I know. Once I know they're going to be coming, once I gather like this is going to be the time they're here, I will make it known where to meet me, which will be on the outskirts of the church, and I will bring light and a bunch of cloaked rangers,
Okay.
and make it very clear to them, this is off limits. We catch wind of you, and I know your tricks. I know your playbooks. We catch wind of you. You will wish you had never stepped foot in this town.
What a reunion. Okay, yeah, no, eventually, you would, knowing their patterns, knowing them, knowing that Direwood is not too far from their usual routes, their usual rotation of places they fuck with, you would be able to predict with some certainty about when they're going to show up. Once, like, what level does Direwood have to get to for them to show up? And yeah, you would be able to do that. You would be able to say, hey, meet me here. You'd be able to trick them into finding you, show up with the guard and light, and tell them never come back. And this would be a separate thing. A couple of them would. A couple of them would try. C, no. He would look very disappointed, very annoyed, kind of
I
like...
would give them probably upwards of 100 gold to leave us alone. And basically
bribe.
be like, I'd basically put it down and be like, you step foot in that city, I will make sure that's paid back. Otherwise, you're not going to get much else. I know these people. I would tell them, like, the city isn't going to be able to ever get you 100 gold unless it takes you years. Leave us be.
With that,
And
they would take the money, and C would tell you, "It's your best con yet?" And you'd nod approvingly, and leave, and you wouldn't see them again.
I'd also tell Light the entire playbook, anything to look for, spread the word, and I'd make sure C knows I'm doing this. That like, yeah, you can try. Not only will we catch you,
We know exactly what you're gonna. Okay, yeah. Then you certainly would not see you would not see them again. Neat. Bess, your father.
Nope. I would say no.
You'd just leave that, huh?
I would leave that.
Okay. Okay. Then, one more question for the group as a whole. How long do you think it takes to bring Direwood back to some semblance of
2
normal?
days.
You gotta, you're working, you're bringing the factions together. You gotta rebuild the city, get people to come, and people do come. but you know, there's a lot to do. There's a lot of work to do. How long do you think it takes? I'm asking you guys.
Jason, if you're speaking, you're
Yeah.
not.
So basically, how long until 6? Yeah. How
Okay.
long? How long until Sam says, "All right, my work here is done," hands the throne to 6.
Clara seriously said 2 days. It's obviously gonna
I was sort of thinking maybe we start with a 3-year plan. We kind of have a step 1, step 2, step 3, as separate them into kind of 12 or whatever they are, 10-month chunks.
Until some semblance of normal, where Direwood looks more like a city on the rise than a city completely
Yeah.
dismantled.
Yeah, it's gonna take a little while. Yeah.
Few
Yeah,
years.
if a while into that, Alistair would have his lover probably relocate to Direwood as well from Priest.
His lover.
Yeah,
Very nice.
Who is it?
Oh, that's right. Forgot about
her
that.
name
Did
is
you hear about this?
no, maybe.
She would come with a bill from the tavern.
Yep.
She would come with a
That's what
bill
I was
from the
waiting for.
tavern for the guard you just sent there and expected them to pay him. You owe them 50 gold. Which at this point, Alistair could easily pay.
Yeah,
And we have him come back. Can we have your guard? Can we have that guy come back?
I'd
pay
have
him
her
more.
bring him with. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Then
Why not?
basically, she'd
he
arrive.
was a good guy.
Yeah, she'd arrive, and there'd be this touching scene where she comes and hugs you and whatever, and then he's standing behind her, arms crossed, gives you a couple moments, just holds his hand out.
I'll drop him 70 gold.
70 gold. He kind of counts it out. This'll do.
Hey.
Where do you need me now?
Hey, wherever you want to go, buddy.
Yeah,
You
he's
stick around here. I'll keep funding you. You do whatever you want to do until I need you.
he's
seems enticed
permanently
by
on
this.
call.
Yeah, permanently on call and not really having any job throughout the day until you call him. He's down for that.
Yeah,
He'd
I mean,
basically hang out at the Red Tail
possible-
Brewery all the time and just
I
wait.
do have a question about a spell,
Nice.
and it's not innately part of the spell, but I think it would be really cool because the part of the spell that I want is present in other spells. If I cast Magnificent Mansion in the same exact place every day for a year, can it be permanent?
I will say,
With the power of Gistomancy, will it be permanent?
with the power of Gistomancy and Besson Doran's help over a 3-year period, you'd make it happen.
Yes. I don't have to pay taxes on housing, baby.
Well, that's
didn't
up to
think we
6. 6
I
knows
didn't
it's there. Yeah.
I didn't think we paid taxes to begin with. I'm a church.
Yeah.
If
I
6
can
times,
always tax him.
Okay. So, okay. So, a few years. I'm just making notes that may or may not pertain to C2. I think I've got pretty much everything. Are there any... oh, go ahead.
I do have a question.
Clara, her name is Lilsani Grenwald, by the way.
Oh, is she cute?
She's an elf.
Fine.
Little Solony's been
Nice.
sitting in
By
his back
default.
pocket in his backstory since day one.
Yeah.
does
Oh.
the church gain popularity in those 3 years? Focusing on PR and
Essentially, yes. It in those 3 years, it doesn't become like a staple religion, but in Direwood, like you start to hear of like a little sect over in Gloucester, or over in Ustaria. Like you start to hear of it spreading a little bit, and in Direwood, I would say 1 out of 10 people takes part in it, which isn't a lot, but like as Direwood begins to grow, that your little church of 50 people grows to, in those 3 years, probably easily 500.
How many people in Direwood are religious in the first place?
In those
3.
after those 3 years, or
Yeah.
well, I mean, in D&D, it's not a matter of whether you believe in God or not. It's a matter of which God you want to put your faith in. So probably most. Probably like 8 out of 10 people actively worship some god to some degree.
good number.
Yeah, so I'd say like
When you can
15%
actually
of
see
Direwood
the things
citizens.
they do and stuff, it's a little easier. To
Yeah. I'd say after a few years, about 15% of the population are officially members of the Church of the Rock. Not a bad number.
And I'm assuming because we helped with a lot of farmland that there's just some people who it's not their primary religion, but it's included in their prayers.
For most people who don't, after the 3 years, with you running it in the way you guys are working together, most people who don't actively worship respect the church. They're kind of weirded out by the like worshiping a glowing toxic rock thing, but like they respect the people.
Respect the church, Karen.
So my last question to everybody no longer applies because everybody stayed in Direwood. I was gonna go one by one and ask you guys, what's your last mark on the city? But instead of asking what your last mark on the city is, you're all staying. What's the last thing you want to lay on the table? And I'll go in order here. What's the last thing you want to proclaim here tonight to wrap Direwood up? You want your character to do for Direwood.
Is it okay if we still ask a couple questions after that?
Pertaining to Epilogue, yeah. I mean, this
I
doesn't
want to
have to be.
pretend to meta a little bit afterwards because
okay.
I want to know why they all succeeded all their saving throws at the end. But we can do that later.
We can. That'll be in the wrap up.
I have my 11 questions.
11 now. Okay. If anybody has their what they want their last thing to put on the table to be, you can open up and then we'll go through. Or if you had a couple things.
Alistair wants to learn Wish and bring his mom back.
Whew.
That's
a very long-term goal.
Yeah.
You know what?
He will keep that ring on until it happens.
You guys are
And if it
clearing
doesn't
out.
happen, he will wear it until he dies.
You guys are clearing out that entire Mages Guild basement, that entire library, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Roll a d100 for me.
Oh fuck! This is gonna be the one spell.
Well, the thing is, he doesn't have to be level 20. He just has to be level 17.
$63. We'll get back to that.
Pog.
All right, Jason, you had a couple things, or yeah, I guess. Is there anything else you guys wanted to get out there quick before last thoughts? If not, if anyone else wants to go with their last thing they want to throw down.
I had a couple of questions. The first one would be in approximately 5 years' time. Did the Sphinx call what's his name?
Zelfer?
Not Doran.
Zelfer would
Did he
return
call
back to the
Zelfer
city.
back?
Zelfer would return to the city with his wife and kid.
Thing is,
He would be given
after about 5
place
years,
to live, and
Yeah.
Six would try to make good on his promise to help fight the Sphinx.
We all go into the Sphinx because Zelfer would come and go, hey, because he'd keep track every single fucking day, and he'd show up and be like, guys, it happens tomorrow.
That'll be our reunion.
that'll
Our
be
5-year
the
reunion.
Bronze Toad reunion.
Would say, I know.
Yeah, you guys would be seeing each other fairly often, if not every day. Some of you working on the hysterium stuff. Yeah, after about like 4 years and 9 months, whatever. Whenever Zelfer comes back, he's like, "Hey, so remember that thing? Yeah, it's happening tomorrow. That Sphinx at this point, not going to be a problem for the party." Basically, the Sphinx would appear to Zelfer and be like, "Your time has come." And Zelfer would be like, and then the 5 of you would jump out and just fucking annihilate this Sphinx. Like, it would take like 2 rounds of combat, and the Sphinx would be like, "No!"
I told you we didn't have anything to worry about.
Yeah. After 5 years of you guys researching hysterium, and the level of the party became, the Sphinx would last 2 rounds against this party of 5. 2 rounds,
Nice.
max.
Zelfer does return to Direwood. He becomes a fucking farmer with his family.
Cute.
He would come in.
That's very
He
cool.
would stop at 2. He would stop at 2 kids, but he would have a family, and he would ask his family to come in, and they'd just be a farmer. And because Doran knows him because of the party, he would give him farmland. He'd make sure he gets farmland, and
Yeah, he did come and help with a really big thing.
Makes
I'm
sense.
sure the party, Sir Doran, even though he didn't really know him, would be willing to help.
oh yeah,
Makes perfect sense.
you have the farmland.
Here's like 5 acres. Go right ahead. Like,
Yeah,
Alistair, after about a year, would get rid of his suit coat and replace it with a lab coat.
Oh hell yeah.
A really, really nice lab coat. Like one that kind of goes down to like your feet. They're like, wow, that's way too nice to be wearing. What if it gets blood on it? But then if it gets blood on it, prestidigitation, baby.
Beautiful.
Professor Kane. No, that sounds dumb.
No, it's badass.
That is pretty badass,
I liked
actually.
it.
Jason, you had one more thing? You had another question?
I did. My other questions were, the originator and the automaton. Did that have ever come to fruition with advanced research
spider!
into hysterium as a power source?
If you guys
And the
wanted
spider.
to bring him back into the fold and try to help him with that, it certainly could.
The spider.
Okay. How does that go?
Well, if with your Hysterium research facility, your guys', if you invite him over, there would be some difficulty, him being a high-ranking person and priest with what happened, and because he would know about the cover-up, he'd
Water
be
under the bridge.
he would be worried, anxious about going to Direwood and doing that sort of thing. There'd be a whole ordeal. But if you guys wanted to work with him for like a good 6 months, you could figure it out with him and basically find a fuel for automated magical machines. Yeah.
Gordon
All
would
right.
voice his
Nice.
concerns with supplying priests with any type of military thing.
Noted, and it is a good point. I
Doesn't
kind of
stop you.
believe that
The one
entire
stipulation.
seemed to be blown up there in that evening. So anyway, please.
Yeah, he would. The originator would inform you guys. Any research he completes here, he has to bring back and show to priests. Like you guys are supplying everything. You get to keep like the products, but everything he learns, he has to bring back to priests.
I think that's
It'd be the
fair.
only reason
I
they'd
think
allow him to go.
Question then.
shared
Mr.
knowledge
Holden.
would bring us closer.
With our research, could we find a way to, using pure hysterium, create more hysterium? Could that be something we can produce?
If that wants to be a long-term goal, yeah.
Because then we can have trade deals with priests. We supply them with hysterium for their machines.
They essentially.
They can't get it by themselves. If that's the fuel, we are the only ones who have it.
You guys would eventually be able to learn that hysterium does very slowly grow like a fungus. It is a
We
crystal.
just monopolized a rock.
Yeah, it very, very slowly grows like a fungus, though it is a crystal. Like over a year, you could perform an experiment under various conditions, and you would watch with these conditions and this much light and all that. Like this hysterium shard, if you embedded into stone, grew from 2 inches to 4. Like you would learn it's very slow to make, but it can be quote unquote farmed.
Alistair would absolutely help set up a hysterium farm.
That would be that's our connection back to priests.
Is there any way to accelerate that with magic or our studies?
You would learn over time that it can be accelerated, but it is very dangerous to do so because casting any spell on hysterium, or even near large enough quantities of it, has very, we'll say, wild repercussions.
Okay.
Negative consequences.
Or a roll on a wild magic
I
table.
just saw that Jason's name was 2 nuns, 1 chalupa.
Nice.
So that would be one of our, I guess, building the hysterium mines, and of course I check with my god if it's okay. If the rock's like, nah, man, fuck that.
I feel like the rock would look down at you and be like, damn, I'm sure I'm proud of this guy.
The Rock would be okay with all of this, so long as there is ample stone for worship and for the people who are giving it power through their worship.
100%. We have a specific mine for the church. We have our production mines that are meant to trade, and then we have the church mine that... Because we have all those tunnels, right, underneath the church that we cleared out.
There's a lot of hysterium down there.
Yeah.
I can reuse those and help that make that into part of the mine. Some of the
So
tunnels...
another question is hysterium radioactive after a certain amount of years being near it like uranium? Does Alistair eventually get cancer from it?
You guys would learn that it is in fact toxic, and prolonged exposure to it, even in small doses, can be harmful. But with Bess's powerful healing, she could negate all effects on those who
Alistair
are...
just keeps dying, and she just keeps resurrecting.
Yeah, Alistair's just like, here's our next experiment. And Bess is like, God damn it. Not again.
Aging Dr. Bess, he did it again. God damn it.
Bess is like giving a lecture in a lecture hall. Dr. Bess, he's done it again, ma'am. And Bess in the middle of like 50 students, motherfuck! 1 sec.
Alistair walks into the classroom, and he just looks at the class. He goes, "Watch this. This might be cool." Does it?
Right then.
And now a real-world lesson in resurrection.
Tess says every single time, I'm not helping you. I'm not going to help you. And every time...
Yeah.
Just so you know, Bess, Alistair is complete. His entire life is indebted to you. You literally saved his father in front of his face, and he will make it vividly clear that anything you need done, he will do.
It's fine. It's my job.
Okay. With that,
Saving
which is
people,
fantastic.
hunting things.
Just became a
the
teacher.
family
Shut up.
business.
I like Bess became a teacher during that little skit there.
Yeah, I like that. Best giving like lectures on healing
Oh
magic.
my
and
god, she's gonna be like Dr. Jill Biden.
respect.
I love that. Come here.
Blake, I just imagined Bess is like. No, that wouldn't work. Never mind.
Okay, so Isaac, don't let me forget about your wish thing. Does anybody else have their last thing they want to put down? Their last big mark on Direwood, their last thing for their character.
Bucky!
That is a cat, and that is an acceptable answer.
Look at that! Oh, look at that!
In fact, that is an exceptional answer.
That's an ooh face.
That's the cool thing.
He's oohing. You are making him ooh.
I mean, Doran spends the time building up the church and making that his thing. He finds someone. Doran knows eventually he's gonna die. He would find someone that the Rock would be okay with taking his stead. That would be one of his major points. Is when I die, someone else has to be the new church leader. And he'd basically talk to you, and he'd basically build up. There's new priests. There's people. There's clerics. He wants people to be full-birth clerics of the Rock.
Okay.
And then, working with Alistair as much as possible to create magic.
Okay.
I do have one more question about C2. How is it set far into the future?
That depends on what we're doing here tonight. So far,
Okay.
it's right now in my head. It is going to be set like 5 years in the future, or
Gotcha.
maybe a little more.
I just like C2 500 years in the
Yeah. Okay. So that's Doran. Anybody else have their last remarks for their character for Direwood? Bess, 6.
Six has lived his life since the explosion, trying to understand who he is, being comfortable with that, and then attempting to raise the city and just giving everybody a fair shake. And he's damn proud of everything, how everything has come out.
Well, he went from a cage underground under the city to becoming the king. So yeah, I would hope so. Maybe is there like any last remarks you'd like? Things he does for the city as king, proclamations he makes, things he focuses on, maybe as ruler.
Cage to King, a winner's story.
Well, he definitely makes sure that there are city celebrations, because there are far too many reasons not to celebrate, to waste a couple of the bad ones to celebrate. So every chance that the city gets, he would like to make it a warm, inviting, revelous place. And Rat Tail 2 brews coming at you to make the times go well.
So as a king, he makes the city a place of celebration. I like that. I like that
Celebration and warmth and happiness.
Change his name from Direwood to Firewood, baby.
a lot. That's a different word.
Oh!
Okay, Bess, any last remarks for Bess? Any closing things Bess would do?
FYRE would.
She is happy to be with her new family.
Okay.
Does Bess have any kids?
Do they? Yeah, I was about to ask. Family. Wait, do they have kids?
Oh, jeez, do we have kids?
Are you gonna make a new little heir to the
Yes,
throne?
we can definitely fucking have
Six would be
Let's
six
do
would be
it.
fine with it.
How many?
All right.
10.
6, 10.
How,
6 by the time he's 30 looks like he's 60. He's like,
how many?
We'll have people to help take care of them, you know.
3.
How do you... 3?
Left
3?
3.
4? Somewhere in there? I
3.
think it's totally good.
All right.
3.
3. Clara, would you roll? Are you on roll 20?
No, but I can be.
Or I can do it for you. I'd like for you to roll 3
No.
D2s.
Gender.
did Zelfer have to roll?
It
Come
is
on.
a construct, babe.
Zelfer's not my
Sex.
character.
Wait. What am I rolling? 3D2s?
3D2.
3D2.
Do you want me to just roll 3D2?
Yeah,
or
just roll 3D2. We can see 'em. Congratulations, they're all girls.
Yeah.
You have 3 girls.
All right. Well. Great. I'm sure one of them will make a wonderful ruler someday. Or if the people so choose, or she chooses not to, then
Well, you got
Hey,
3 to choose
we'll
from.
figure it out.
3 that could possibly take it. So hopefully that doesn't become a mess later. Ooh. C2 stuff.
We'll deal with it when we get there.
Alistair's definitely also going to have a kid.
So Alistair, speaking of, 6 years later, 6 years into working with Hysterium, 6 years of cleaning out the library and finding all materials you can, basically working with your friends and working on Hysterium and building up Direwood for 6 years. By day you do that, by night you're hunting for a way to bring your mother back. And after 6 long years, you finally decipher an old scroll you found in the library that will allow you to bring her back. And once you do so, that's Direwood. So, you guys rebuild Direwood, make it a completely new place with all sorts of interesting locations and celebrations and 3 princesses to King 6 and Queen Bess, a Hysterium research facility run by Alistair, a successful Church of the Rock run by Doran, a booming economy based on the Hysterium that is also worshipped. And eventually, over that 6-year period, the city grows, and in that 6-year period, it doesn't go back to normal. There will never be a normal. But, like, the remnants of what Direwood once was, what happened to it, will always remain. On the corner of this street there, you'll see this old building that was never quite restored. You'll see scorch marks from a previous battle. But over time, Direwood becomes its own city once again, thanks to the Bronze Toads.